Yeah, cheers for that, Fletch. I must admit, we did have one eye on that Ivory Coast game early on. Wonder if that was going to be the first one. It wasn't to be, and hopefully, and I think given Sweden's form at both ends of the field, I think we will get goals tonight. Sweden taking on Tunisia at the Monterrey Stadium earlier on in Group F. Netherlands 2-2 with Japan, so the door open for one of these two teams to get their campaign off to a flying start and get a head start in the group. 27 degrees in Monterrey tonight, humidity 77%, Perry. Energy sapping conditions. Will that maybe play into Tunisia's hands?
Well, obviously they'll be more used to those sort of conditions, so it's imperative that when you're in possession you don't give the ball away cheaply, Willow. So and I've actually experienced playing in that sort of humidity, where I went on a pre-season tour with Arsenal. We played West Palm Beach, played Independiente in the unofficial World Club Championships, and we actually went. David Rocastle got a couple of goals and won it, but we had to start our training at 8 o'clock in the morning, because we normally in England you train at 10:30, and we were absolutely on our knees by 11 o'clock. So we trained early in the morning. We were supposed to train again at 7 o'clock, but we just decided to just have the one training session, so it ended up being like a stag do basically.
Yeah, happy days. The teams out on the field then. We are going to have the national anthems of both the two teams here. The pitch covered by two huge flags. First up will be Sweden. There was the Tunisian national anthem. Just as we saw the big on the big screen there was a huge fork of lightning. FIFA said earlier on they didn't think the weather was going to be a problem. There was report of a big storm in the area tonight, Perry, and that could be a problem tonight.
We don't need you turning to Michael Fish. Well, let's be fair, you're the one who spotted it. That was a really good spot. You said that, and it wasn't just a little, was it? It was huge.
Yeah, it was.
A huge fork of lightning. So let's hope that it's passing. Let's hope that it's passing over the Monterrey Stadium, and obviously we get a really entertaining 90 minutes.
Yeah, Fletcher was mentioning we haven't had a 0-0. We've not had a big weather delay yet either. Hopefully tonight is not the night. It's all part of a huge day across the TalkSport network already earlier on. Ivory Coast beat Ecuador by 1-0. Tonight, 5 o'clock, Spain take on Cape Verde. Belgium take on Egypt at 8 o'clock. And then 11 o'clock, Saudi Arabia take on Uruguay. And the action continues into the early hours of Tuesday morning as well. Sweden in their blue and yellow strip. They go with Christopher Nordfeldt in goal. The back three of Victor Lindelof, Isaac Hien and Gustav Lagerbielke. Across the middle it's Gabriel Goodmanson of Leeds, Yasin Ayari of Brighton, Jesper Karlstrom and Alexander Bernardson. Benjamin Nygren, who had a great year at Celtic, 21 goals for Celtic in their championship winning campaign, and he's behind Victor Gyökeres, the Arsenal man, and Alexander Isak, who started just 8 Premier League games for Liverpool in his first season with the Reds. For Sabri Lamouchi and Tunisia, they go with Shamak in goal, Jan Valery, Talbi, Rekik and Amin Ben Mohamed at the back. It's Kadira and Skiri across the middle. Slimani and Hannibal will both play in England, with Ali Abdi behind Elis Saad, who will lead the line. Yale Falcon Perez is our referee tonight from Argentina. We wish him a good game as well. The VAR, of course, in operation, and that is Juan Lara of Chile is our VAR tonight. Hopefully we won't be talking about them, Perry, but conditions are going to be tough. Sweden, we expect goals. They score plenty, but they concede plenty as well. Tunisia have been good against lesser opposition, but this is a step up, and they'll be wary that big loss to Belgium in their warm-up game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's if it saps any confidence away from them, because they're exemplary in their World Cup qualifying, but then playing against Belgium is a couple of steps up. I think Sweden probably not quite on Belgium's level, but as we said there, we've got players in their side that can hurt you, and there's probably not a more effective front two, because Sweden have gone back into two up front with Gyökeres and Isak. Normally a lot of the international teams and the top teams play with one striker, so that warms the cockles of me going back to the 1980s where it was always 4-4-2. I'm interested to see with Gyökeres and Isak how they actually dovetail and how they play, whether Gyökeres is going to be the furthest forward and Isak's going to sort of float around him, because for Newcastle Isak was the main man, was he playing through the middle, but he could go out onto the left hand side and drift him from there. And for Tunisia's point of view, you've got Saad up front, and he'll be on his own, and it's imperative that he holds the ball up. He has to give them an outlet so that they can get some control in the game.
Yeah, Tunisia in their all red strip with a white trim, and the now famous yellow and blue colours of Sweden. We're about to get underway in Monterrey Stadium, capacity 50,000, and looking around the ground, despite all the furore about ticket prices, it looks like they've all been taken.
Yep, it's like a smorgasbord of fans in there, and we've got like all really colourful sort of vista, obviously with all the Swedish fans with their yellow Swedish football tops on and the Swedish flag. We've seen a lot of them, they all marked on their faces, and obviously there's a very high percentage of the Tunisian fans obviously with their football tops on, so it's a very colourful arena.
Yeah, it is. There's almost rugby style there. Tunisia straight from the kick-off lumped it straight into the stand on the far side,
and that hasn't gone down very well with the fans either. You can hear like the boos ring around the stadium, but again you see a lot of teams now play for percentages, don't they? So make sure that they're trying to push Sweden back in their left back position. Have you seen the Arsenal one lately, Willow, where Declan Rice gets it and just smashes it up in the air, like the proper up and under?
Yeah. Well, got them to the Premier League title, so they'll be happy enough with that. And once again, Tunisia just knock it deep into the Swedish half. Sweden going from left to right as we look down here, and it's a throwing level with the edge of the Swedish penalty area. And I think Tunisia's tactics already clear at the minute, just try and keep Sweden in their own half and frustrate them.
Well, we mentioned about, the two up front for Sweden going back to the 80s. That was proper 80s there from Tunisia, just hitting it in that left-hand channel for Sweden. Obviously Lindelof's playing out on that left-hand side, the left of the three centre-halves. And again, all Tunisia have done is just got it, and it was Hannibal that time, and he just helped it in that channel, just to make sure they're pushing Sweden further back.
Yeah, Nordfeldt the keeper. There was speculation as to who would start in goal for Sweden tonight. It is Christopher Nordfeldt, who plays for AIK in Sweden. And Sweden now just have the ball and they just stood on it. Lindelof will get it away to Ian, who gets it out wide on the near side to Lagerbielke. And Tunisia just dropping back. You can see their formation across the pitch down in front of us. And Sweden now with Lindelof on a bit of a probing run. He's made it all the way to the edge of the area. He was looking for a run from Isak. The run never came. He plays it and it goes out for a goal kick to Tunisia, 0-0.
Yeah, just mentioned we thought Tunisia was going to go like a 4-2-3-1. It looks like they've gone into a 5 with 3 in midfield. And then when they're out of possession, Ben Slimani goes up front level with Sad, just to have that sort of first point of contact from Tunisia's point of view when they just go back into their own half. And we just saw them there in that defensive shape, and the distances between the 5 at the back and the 3 midfield players was very, very tight and very narrow.
Yeah, Tunisia have it courtesy of a throw-in down their right-hand side. They're looking to get down the right touchline here, and they get to the byline. They pull it back to the corner of the penalty area, and it's cleared away. It was Jan Valery with a decent run, and then a bit of a late challenge goes in here, and this was a naughty one. I think it's Gudmundsson on the wrong end of it. It was Jan Valery, and the crowd and the players react furiously down there.
Yeah, just Gudmundsson just eases the ball up the line. To be fair, there's not a lot of contact. I think Gudmundsson's made the most of it, as the modern day player does, and I can bet your life, unless he's got a snapped bootlace, that he's going to be alright, Willow.
Okay. I thought he did get caught. Referee's had a look at it. He's happy to get on with it. So what, he's a big imposing figure, the referee, isn't he? You won't mess with him.
Yeah, I think he's got the 1,000-yard stare as well, hasn't he? So, but just looking from Tunisia's point of view, they've actually started quite positive. You said trying to get it down that right-hand side. Valery playing as the right wing-back. When they're in possession, he sort of was playing as a right winger, just engaging Gudmundsson, trying to force him back. And quite rightly, the referee, Falcon Perez, just gave the free kick. And what you want as well, you want the referees, after the first game in the World Cup when there was 3 sendings off, don't you think everyone was looking at it thinking, let's please not referee it like this?
Yeah, I think everyone was hoping that as well. There's a nice challenge at the back from Omar Rekik. He plays it forward for Tunisia. They now feed it into midfield. Now a bit of room to turn, and now they are breaking. Plenty of red shirts coming forward. Khedira feeds it out wide to Jan Valery. Once again, he's up and down that touchline. He gets it into the area. Sad couldn't control it. It's cleared away from him. There's a high boot there. Referee says play on despite the protests of Talby, and now it's Sweden on the break, and Gyökeres driving forward down the left hand side, edge of the penalty area, looking for support. It arrives on the edge of the area. He's going to work the checks for the shot, and he puts it just over the top. Well, he was full of confidence, he was strong, he was aggressive, but he couldn't keep the shot down. Gyökeres, it's still 0-0.
Yeah, good counter-attack from Sweden, just easing it down that left-hand side. Really good play from Ayari, initially just easing it out to Victor Gyökeres, just cutting in from that left, trying to get it onto his right foot. I don't think Nigrin and Isak will be very happy with him because they were making good runs into the 18-yard box. Gyökeres coming onto his right foot, can't get his right foot around it, in the end doesn't trouble Shamak in Tunisia's goal.
No, back now come Tunisia. Here's Abdi, his cross is blocked, and now Sweden will look to break. Both sides keen to get forward at every opportunity, and here now is Nigrin, the Celtic man, down the right hand side. Couple of step overs, he was waiting for Isak, who this time did make a good run. Nigrin couldn't find him on this occasion. Will keep possession. Here now down the right is Lagerbielke, and Sweden starting well here, and they're pushing Tunisia back. We've got a stoppage in play here. I'm just wondering what's gone on. This is something off the ball. I wonder if someone's come on the pitch or something. Oh, there's another ball on the pitch. That's the problem. And well, the goalkeeper, Shamak's having nothing to do with it. It's about 10 yards to his left, and he's let Isak go and kick the ball off the field.
Is that a little bit of housery there from Tunisia, do you think? You're trying to take this thing out, as you said. Shamak's looking at the referees to say, what are you looking at me for? And you think, mate, the ball's 10 yards away from you.
Yeah.
Just go and kick it off the pitch. It's not difficult.
And now comes Sweden. 6 minutes gone here. You're live on TalkSport for Arsenal. Perry Groves alongside myself, Mark Wilson. And 12 of 104. Every one of them is live on the TalkSport network.
We're just looking at Tunisia when they're in possession. Ben Samani, so when they're out of possession, he goes level with Sad, in that 5-3-2 formation. But when they're in possession, he just drops off of Sad.
Here's Isak trying to get in behind, and he got in behind. Ball punched away by Shamak. Goal is at the mercy of Gyökeres, and it's cleared off the line. Ball comes out, shot comes in, and it's rifled in to the top corner. It's a brilliant strike from Yasin Ayari, who lashes the ball home from 20 yards. Sweden had the lead. Gyökeres' effort was cleared off the line after Shamak came out and didn't get the ball, and there was Yasin Ayari to lash the ball into the top corner. Sweden 1, Tunisia 0.
What a finish from Ayari. Really good play from Sweden. Initially, little ball over the top, looked like Isak was going to get onto it. Shamak came out, just got his hand to it. Then it came to Gyökeres. He gets his shot away, gets blocked on the line, come back out to Ayari, and you're thinking, is he going to take a touch? And he just rifles it and gives Shamak absolutely no chance whatsoever to his left-hand side. So just an Isak there, seeing if he was onside. He looked well onside. He made sure that he stayed and saw Talby's number. So he just comes to Ayari, takes a touch. He's on the edge of the D, and as the ball sits up with his right foot, just smashes his volley, gives Shamak absolutely no chance. Fantastic start for Sweden. Brilliant technical goal from Ayari. We said earlier, obviously, we thought he'd be the one to get them playing and ticking over. That's a massive bonus where Sweden are concerned. Graham Potter punch in the air. Sweden go 1-0 up at the Monterrey Stadium against Tunisia.
Yeah, they do, and that was a heck of a strike. I don't think the goalkeeper will be too pleased with his role in that one, but it was a sweet strike, and it's 7 minutes gone, and it's Sweden who lead by a goal to 0, and it was a fine strike. Tunisia on the back foot, and now the ball out for a goal kick to Sweden, who have the early advantage, and a dream start for Graham Potter and Sweden.
Yeah, it's really good play from Isak, because he's made sure that he can see Talby's number so that he's onside, and they've got that threat in behind. He's always playing on the shoulder. So Shamak's start just initially was really good, where he manages to tip it away from Isak, but then Sweden made sure they got the second ball to Gyökeres, got the shot blocked on the line, and then they got the third one that came out. Ayari took a brilliant touch and just smashed his volley past Shamak, who's probably too far out of his goal.
Yeah, and it was interesting, there was no big celebration from Ayari. His parents from Tunisia and Morocco, so one half of his family's not going to be too pleased with him right now as he scores against a country that he could have represented.
Do you know what, Well, I don't get it. I used to celebrate scoring goals on five sides. The hardest thing to do in football is to score a goal, honestly. And that's when you are allowed to lose your head when you've scored a goal in a massive World Cup game, and to put your country 1-0 up. And they know full well, obviously, with the result earlier with Japan against the Netherlands being 2-2, Sweden have got a brilliant chance to have the upper hand in this group.
Yeah, Sweden go to Houston to play the Netherlands on the 20th of June, whilst Tunisia will stay in Monterrey. They'll take on Japan. Tunisia have got a free kick here. Hannibal is going to take it. It's about 35 yards out. It's on the right side of the field. Sweden 1, Tunisia 0. If you just joined us, whether you're a night owl just getting in or you're an early bird getting up for work, thanks for joining us on TalkSport. Every game of the FIFA World Cup live on the TalkSport network. Can Tunisia get level here? They've got a free kick. It's actually a little bit further away, about 40 yards out. On the right, they're going to whip it in. It's not a great delivery, and it's cleared away comfortably there by Bernhardsson. And, well, Hannibal has got to be better than that with his set-piece delivery.
Not a great delivery. I think you're being very, very kind. It was awful. Sweden are keeping a high line, right along the D on the edge of the 18-yard box, and all you've got to do if you're Hannibal is just ease it in between the penalty spot and the 18-yard line, so you give your Tunisian teammate something to go and attack. And what does he do? Snap hooks it into the front man. Bernhardsson just has an easy clearance.
Oh, he does indeed. We mentioned that unbeaten qualification campaign, but that was followed by an early exit at the African Cup of Nations. That saw Sami Trabelsi lose his job, and then in came Sabri Lamouchi, who was hoping to get Tunisia out of the group for the first time in their history. They've made 6 of the last 8 World Cup finals, but yet to get out of the group. 1-0 Sweden lead.
Yes, the worst start they could possibly have, because said before they've gone up a level playing in the qualifications. None of the 5 teams that they played against were in the top 100 of FIFA's rankings, and you're playing against a Swedish team who've got, a lot of Premier League players playing in the starting 11.
Yeah, and playing a lot of football as well in the Premier League. Here comes Sweden again. They're over the halfway line. It's Lagerbielke who's playing in the back 3, but he's advanced well over the halfway here. Tunisia's sitting back, dropping off. They do push Lagerbielke all the way back to his goalkeeper Nordfeldt, all in green.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Sweden will have split their centre halves. Exactly what they've done. Lindelof on that left hand side, Ian obviously in the centre, Lagerbielke on the right hand side. That means they can put Gudmundsson basically as the left winger on the left.
Yeah, Isak played the ball in nicely there for Gudmundsson. Every time they do go forward, Sweden, they're getting bodies in and around the box, and it's not just Isak and Gyökeres. Nygren is getting in there. You can see why he scored plenty of goals in Scotland for Celtic. He's getting forward at every opportunity. 1-0, the goal from Ayari of Brighton to give Sweden the lead early on here. And Tunisia not really responded yet, as there was a chance for a break there, but the pass from Bernhardsson just fell short of the target, and Tunisia have it back deep inside their own half.
Yeah, at the moment Tunisia's just struggling to keep hold of the ball. Hannibal does brilliantly there, gets a little turn.
Yeah, fine start. Now there's a good run here down the left hand side. Is he going to pass it? He does, he plays it, big chance, good save by the keeper Nordfeldt, and it was a huge opportunity there. The danger not yet cleared, and the offside flag eventually goes up, but Anis Slimani had a gilt-edged chance there. Elisab did so well, he might have actually did go too soon. He wanted it played a little bit sooner.
The other thing is it's really lazy play from Ben Slimani, because he's looking right across the line in the inside left position. Sad does brilliantly, carries the ball, maybe could have played it a bit earlier, but Ben Slimani's got to make sure that he stays on side, and when it comes to him he should be scoring. It's a good shave from Nordfeldt low down to his left hand side, but that all started, you mentioned about Hannibal playing in the 10 position, getting a really good turn on the halfway line and then feeding it into Sad. So we just see there that Tunisia have got that threat going forward, but as I say, just very lazy play from Ben Slimani, because when you're looking right across the line you shouldn't be running offside.
If he would have scored then, the disappointment would have been massive, because he had such a big patch of grass to run into. Back comes Sweden, they lead by a goal to 0. They're on the attack on their left hand side, looking to put in a cross. It's headed away by Talbi at the near post, to challenge edge of the area, and Lagerbielke heads the ball forward. Now a bit of head tennis ensues, but it's Tunisia who will bring it down 30 yards out from their own goal. This side played it off and loses possession. Sweden get it back, but well, Tunisia, we said they hadn't responded, but that move there maybe just shows the fragility of this Swedish defence.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're playing the 3-4-1-2 system, you have to have Kallstrom or Ayari. One of them has to sit. But we've seen, because you mentioned there, Willow, that when they're in possession that they push their players on. You see, it's like Kallstrom is the one who looks like in free play, he's the one who's going to be the anchor and get Ayari a bit further forward. But because Sweden had good possession, then they put too many of their midfield players too far up the pitch. That gave Hannibal the chance to get himself turned in the centre circle.
Sabri Lamouchi animated at pitch side, and side behind early on here, and Sweden in front of a raucous crowd. The Mexican wave going round the Monterrey Stadium already. They're going early with that.
That's how you gone too early. Normally you do Mexican wave when the game's boring, don't you? But this game has been far from boring. Trust me, both teams, when they're in possession, are looking to go forward. It's had a really good flow about it.
Yeah, it certainly has. We thought we would get goals tonight. We've had one already. Yasin Ayari with a wonderful strike from the edge of the penalty box.
I'll keep Fletch happy. Put the pressure on, didn't he, before the game? No nil-nils in the World Cup so far.
Rolls on to tonight. Adam Bridge and Darren Brent will bring you Spain against Cape Verde. I'm pretty sure there'll be some goals in that one. Every game live on the TalkSport network, of course. And Sweden have an early lead. Moving it down the left. There's a little bit of a tug back there from Saad, but referee says play on. Alexander Isak, who's operating on the left, plays a 1-2. Can he get in behind? He almost got through there. There was a last-ditch challenge from Rekic. Just got enough for the ball, but Alexander Isak looking lively early on here.
Yeah, he just tried to dink over Rekic. Rekic did really well. Made sure that he timed his tackle. Didn't dive in. Just looking at Sweden when they're in possession, they play basically with two 10s. Ayari and Nygren, they're going in the 10 position. You have Gyökeres and Isak who stay central, and Goodman's on the left-hand side. Left wing back, virtually left winger. Bernardsson on the right hand side, virtually right winger. And that's why you mentioned earlier, Willow, that in the counter attack, Tunisia can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen a replay of the goal as well. It went through the hands of the keeper, but it's the initial palm out, isn't it? He palmed it straight to Gyökeres. His shot was cleared off the line, but then it was volleyed in right on the edge of the D from Ayari. Went through the keeper's hands. There was a Tunisian defender on the line. He just couldn't keep it out. The power and the pace and the height put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, to be fair, Talbot did really well, because when it came to Gyökeres, he's fired it goalwards and he's the one who clears it off the line. Unfortunately, it goes straight to Ayari. He showed brilliant composure. It just shows the life of the goalkeeper, doesn't it, Willow? Because actually Chamakh did well initially, because Isak was through and he gets the little touch away from him with his right hand. Then because he's got a big hand to it, it goes too far away from him, then it goes to Gyökeres. So it's just those fine margins, and then obviously Chamakh finds himself in no man's land and he's round about the penalty spot when the Irish smashes it past him.
Yeah, Sweden 1, Tunisia 0. Voice of Perry Groves, myself, Mark Wilson, Ben Fletcher. Back at TalkSport, and it's Sweden 1, Tunisia 0. Early on in this group, all level. Netherlands, Japan. Netherlands twice led, twice pegged back. Japan scoring late on in the piece. Here's Hannibal once again, finds Alisson, who can drive forward here. Sweden backing off, he's 25 out, he's going to have a hit. He hit it well, but it was always too high. But again, Sweden just backing off, no real pressure on the ball there. But what you would say, Saad was quite isolated, had to go it alone.
Yeah, Saad has looked very lively. So he's had the little pass that he slipped into Ben Samani where he should have been offside there. He just drops in to the 10 position, gets himself turned. Really, there's a pass on to his right hand side out to Valery on that right, just to have the extra pass. Didn't really look like he was that confident when he's got his shot away. Just smashed it over Norvet's crossbar.
Yeah, Saad applies his trade with Augsburg in Germany. 3 goals to his name in 15 international appearances.
To be fair to Tunisia, I actually thought that they might be a little bit cautious, and they might go back into like they're playing 5 at the back now, like a 5-4-1. Yeah, not when Sweden are in possession, then they're putting the pressure on. It's Ben Samani and Saad who set it off, and then Hannibal's just in behind them.
Yeah, ball played in for Gyökeres. He's chasing Rekic, who clears his lines up towards midway inside the Tunisian half, and it comes off Goodmanson on the far side for a throw into Tunisia. 1-0, but a bright start from both.
Yeah, it's good pace about the start of the game, because I was a little bit worried beforehand that they might be a little bit cagey because you don't want to.
Well, we've had the 5 count on the and to be fair to the referee there, that was a pretty slow 5 count. Tunisia haven't thrown the ball in. That means Sweden now get the throw.
Yeah, but to be fair, Valerie's got to channel his inner Andy Robertson and put the ball on the floor. Because he doesn't start, does it, until you actually pick the ball up. So there's been a 50-50 split on Robertson's sort of tactics, which would have come from Steve Clarke and his coaching staff, but I just think it's very, very shrewd, very clever.
Absolutely. Scotland were undone by it themselves, weren't they, in their opening game against Haiti, which they won 1-0. Gyökeres miscontrols the ball and it's headed forward by Tunisia. 19 gone here. Monterrey Stadium, 50,000 in attendance here, and thankfully no sign of that storm progressing. We did see that bolt of lightning early on, but nothing since then, and Sweden have it at the back, and the game just for the first time maybe just having a little bit of a lull, as Isak is dispossessed on halfway, but the ball fell kindly. Now it's spread out wide on this near side. Here's Bernardsson. He's trying to get past his man Ali Abdi, but Abdi defends it well, brings the ball back in field, lays it back on the edge of his penalty area. In Tunisia, well, they play their way out of trouble, but then they play their way back into it. Skahiri was almost caught in possession. Here's Hannibal again, looking to feed the ball down the left. Al Abdi is racing down the left touchline, but he can't quite control it, and that breaks down for a throw into Sweden.
Yeah, Abdi did really well initially when the ball was played out to Bernardsson on Sweden's right hand side. It was a brilliant ball from Ayari from the centre circle, just sprayed it out to Bernardsson, took it on his chest, just tried to flick it past Abdi. Abdi did really well, just made sure that he didn't commit himself too early.
All out for a throw in. Andre Lamucci is all in black, looks very smart casual. Graham Potter's opted for the suit. Now, given the conditions, Perry, he's rather let himself down a road here. He's not going to be able to take the jacket off now, is he? He's going to be sweating under there.
Let's hope it's a linen suit. But I've seen a couple of managers actually wear vests.
Oh, you said that earlier.
You think, really? Shouldn't she go out as baggy as possible?
Maybe. And here is Sweden coming forward again. They lead by a goal to 0 live on TalkSport. Sweden have it on halfway. Just going to roll it back inside their own half. Here is Isaac Hien, who plays for Atalanta in Italy. Ball fed out wide on the left for Sweden. Four-weight in the middle. Cross comes in from the left-hand side. Gyökeres chests it down. He'll go out of the box, but he'll keep possession. They were looking for a 1-2 edge of the area. And Elisard, who's back there helping out his teammates, will win a free kick midway inside his own half.
It's good play from Goodmanson on the left-hand side. So playing Birch as a left winger when Sweden are in possession. Valerie's got to do better. He's got to get closer to him. He's got to make sure that he stops the cross before the ball gets into the box.
Yeah, we're having a hydration break. So 22 on the clock then, the tail of the take so far. Dream start for Sweden, who Isak bearing down on goal. The keeper Shamak came out, palmed it out to the edge of the area. Victor Gyökeres had a shot that was cleared off the line, and it fell to the onrushing Yassine of Brighton, who smashed it on the volley from the edge of the D into the top corner to give Sweden the lead. Tunisia did have one great chance, as it happened, wouldn't have counted for offside, but Elisard played in the attacker Amis Slimani, and he'd just gone offside, and his shot well saved by Christopher Nordfeld. Other than that, not too many chances, Perry Groves, but certainly attacking intent from both, and we see now players with cold towels around their neck. They're getting plenty of fluids on this break. Vital tonight.
Yeah, I think the game's gone much as we thought it would, because we thought Sweden, would dominate possession, which they have. They've had 70% of the possession, actually 70% on the stats that we've got through, but I'm not sure with the FIFA ones, because there's new percentage stats, Willow, coming through, isn't there now, where there's like a little grey area where neither team has the ball, so then it's no good for someone like me who hasn't got his maths O-level. You have to try and work out the percentages.
Yeah, I'll just say what you see. We're just seeing the ref cam of the goal, and it just shows Hayari. That first touch gets it out of his feet, he sat up and he volleyed it in. It was a really, really nice strike.
Do you know what the difference is? We talked about the difference in levels. For Sweden's goal, I mentioned about Isak, where he's trying to get in behind, he's making sure that he can see Talby's number, so he knows he's not offside. The best chance that Tunisia had was the Ben Samani one, where he actually runs offside by a yard when Saad passes him in. That's the difference. That's the difference in quality. That's the difference in spin in the game.
Yeah, 1-0 here. Reminder what we've got coming up later on tonight. Well, of course, later on this morning you'll have the TalkSport breakfast show with Andy Goldstein and Gabby Agbonlahor. Hawksby and Jacobs in their new earlier time, 10 till 1. And then Jim White and Simon Jordan live from New York. We're with you in their new time of 1 until 4. And then we're back to the football. Spain against Cape Verde. Adrian Durham, Adam Bridge and Darren Bent, our team on air. 5 o'clock start for that one. Belgium against Egypt. Adrian is with Nigel Adley and Martin Keown, the former Arsenal man. And then later on, it's Saudi Arabia against Uruguay in Danta with the former West Ham and England man Alvin Martin. So part of 5 games across the day here. Every game from the World Cup live on the TalkSport network, and this has been a pretty decent start here. Sweden 1, Tunisia 0. What have you made of the opening 25 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's the pace of the game's been good. You mentioned about the 77% humidity, didn't you, Willow, where you thought that it might be a slow-paced game. It isn't. It's got the Premier League pace about it. Sweden have been good in possession, so pushing their wing-backs high and wide. Tunisia, when they're out of possession, go into that 5-3-2 formation. They've shown a little bit of quality a couple of times when Hannibal's got himself on the ball in the centre circle and Saad's just dropping a little bit deeper. So there's enough jeopardy in the game. Well, I was worried about the different levels. I mentioned about Tunisia not playing a team in FIFA's top 100 in their qualification, but they've actually stepped up a level, so that's what's made the game nice and competitive.
Yeah, well, they're in possession now, and they will take comfort from this stat as well. Sweden have failed to win more games than they've won when scoring first at a World Cup. They've won 13 and drawn or lost 15, so they're not great front runners, Sweden. History will tell you that. You're going back quite a number of years, but those are the stats, and Sweden with that lead will want to add to it as Abdi gets down the left, but couldn't keep that in. And I'll tell you what, he's done really well there. He got a bit of a shove and he hurtled over the advertising hoarding. His athleticism got him out of trouble there. Yeah, the
Swedish centre-half in just gives him a thumbs up. If say, you're right, mate. You think, actually, no, you've done it on purpose. You know what I mean? So
did give him a nudge.
Exactly. Don't give me your shallow sort of apologies, whereas give him a nudge. And to be fair, in the end, the Tunisian player did really well to just jumped over the hoarding and got himself back in again.
Ball played forward by Sweden. Gyökeres, a willing runner. Can he keep it in? Well, he does, but he loses out in possession. Picked up by, want to see a Talbi, plays it forward up towards halfway. Hannibal wins the header. Here is Elis Saad. I've been impressed with him. He's mobile, he's getting about, and he's got a good touch.
Yep, I said he has to hold the ball up, which he's done. He drops it a bit deeper. Good little link-up play with him and Hannibal there. Hannibal just his little flick on with his head. That enables Tunisia to get himself decent possession down their right-hand side.
Yeah, here's Scary, gets it out wide on the right foot. Tunisia, there were 5 red shirts waiting for a cross. Now it comes from deep. It's partially cleared at the back by Ian, and now it's picked up on this near side. This is Saad again, looking for a give and go with Hannibal. 25 yards out, tried to whip the ball in, but misjudged the pass, and it's cleared away up towards halfway. Tunisia recycled possession. They trail by a goal to nil here. Here's Hannibal again, looking for the crossfield switch. This time he finds the target, but the ball just bounced over his teammate, who actually thought he kept it in on that far side, Valerie, but it bounced over the sideline, and the assistant gives the throw into Sweden.
Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Exactly what he should have done. Should have come a little bit further into the pitch and got to the ball just as it bounced. It was a good switch of play actually from Hannibal, from left to right.
Tunisia just having a little bit more of the ball now, and it's Sweden's turn to drop off defensively. Here come the team in red over the halfway. Ali Abdi's been busy on this right hand side. He lays it back now, and here's Talbi again. The pace has just dropped in this game. It's very frantic in the opening 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that happens when you have the hydration break as well. It just takes that sort of zip out of the game. It probably came at a decent time actually for Tunisia, because Sweden would say dominating possession. Gave them a chance to reset. We see Hannibal just dropping a little bit deeper. So it's the best bit of possession that Tunisia had. We see they're being brave as well because they're pushing their wing back. See Valerie, who's wide on that right-hand side.
Yeah, nice touch from side edge of the area. He'll square it off. Chance for the shot there. Not taken up. It'll fall back to side. He can't control it. And that was Slimani, who maybe would have been forgiven there for having a shot. Now the break's on the other way. Gyökeres finds Isak. Isak left. He's driving in towards the edge of the box. Lashes his shot's gone through the keeper and in. Alexander Isak doubles the lead. But Shamak in the Tunisian goal has had a howler. He's got straight through the keeper. And Sweden double their lead. Alexander Isak with a goal. But Muid Shamak will look back at that in horror. Sweden 2, Tunisia 0.
Well, you don't want to look back, you want to try and look forward because the ball's coming towards him. Isak picks the ball up on that left-hand side. Looked like there was a foul on Gyökeres. The referee played a really good advantage. Isak's 1v1 with Talbi. Talbi can actually get a bit tighter, Willow, because you've got to make sure you know that Isak wants to come in onto his right foot. Exactly what he does. He gets a good strike, just puts his laces through the ball, and at first looks it looked like it went underneath Shamak. But it's, as you said there, it's really poor goalkeeping because it's a simple save, just a lack of concentration from the goalkeeper. So Isak just cutting in from that left-hand side, and it's actually gone underneath Shamak. He's gone down like a sack of potatoes, you know, because it's in that goalkeeper's what they call a no man's land, you know, where it's quite close to his feet, but it's just really, really poor goalkeeping. So it's a massive bonus for Sweden because, say, Isak sort of side foots it with his right foot and Shamak gets a left palm to it, but it should be a simple save for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that is poor goalkeeping. Alexander Isak celebrates. He hit the target, and as they always say, if you don't buy a ticket you're not going to win the raffle. Well, he bought a ticket and he hit the jackpot. 2-0 Sweden lead against Tunisia. And Alexander Isak and Gyökeres linking up beautifully. Here back come Tunisia. They get a chance for the shot. It might fall for Sard in the penalty area. I'm not sure the flag would have gone up because the shot was deflected. Eventually it does go up and it wouldn't have counted anyway. But Tunisia hit really with a sucker punch because there was nothing on when Gyökeres gets the ball on halfway there, Perry. But he had a willing runner in Isak and he did the business.
Yep, I mentioned a couple of times earlier when Isak's drifted out to that left-hand side, and there's been twice before that where Talbi's gone and engaged him, but he's actually let him come in onto his right foot, where if you're going to let him come in, you've got to make sure you get the block. You've got to make sure you get your left foot to it. But if you're a clever defender, you say, actually, I'm just going to show you down the left-hand side. I'll show you down left-hand side, which is your weaker side, and it's less chance of you actually causing us any problems. So it was just poor defending from Talbi and really bad goalkeeping from Shamak.
Yeah. And what we've got to say is Isak was the only Swedish player in the Tunisian half when he got the ball, so it's not like he had anybody to pass it to. The only option was to shoot. 2-0, the keeper. I thought he could have done better with the first one. He certainly should have saved the second one. As now corner won by Bernardsson down the Swedish right, and Abdi can only put it behind, and Tunisia now look a pretty dejected bunch. Sabri Lamouchi looks on. This a horrendous start to their campaign, and can Sweden now pile on the misery with a third before half time? 32 on the clock here at the Monterrey Stadium in Group F, and it's Sweden who at the moment will top the table tonight after Netherlands and Japan drew earlier on, and there's a real scrimmage of bodies round Shamak here, and they'll want to put pressure on him given the mistakes he's made early in this match.
Basically they've gone into Aussie rules, haven't they? It's exactly what they've gone. Just there's about 8 Swedish players just around Shamak, so just trying to stop him come off of his line.
Yeah, Lindelof with a header went over the top, and he's sporting a bit of a shoulder there because he's saying, look, my shirt's been pulled off my back. Referee's having none of it, and it's still Sweden 2, Tunisia 0.
Yeah, just a nice little clipped in corner from Nygren with his left foot in swinging. Lindelof gets the contact, but to be fair to Valerie, just make sure that he stays shoulder to shoulder. Just a natural coming together. But it's a long way back now from Tunisia. And you said earlier, about the step up in quality, which we've seen obviously from Sweden's point of view. Ayari getting a really good controlled volley, and then Isak from the edge of the D with his right foot didn't really put his foot through it, so just really poor goalkeeping from Shamak.
Yeah, here comes Sweden again down their left-hand side. Gabriel Gudmundsson will just ease the ball back towards the halfway line. Sweden with that 2-goal cushion now have got this game in the palm of their hands. Live on TalkSport this morning. Tunisia trying to push further up the field. Ball played forward. Negron wins the header. Bernardsson bravely won the header but couldn't control the bouncing ball, and Abdi will just play it up the touchline for Tunisia, and it's played back, but it comes off a Sweden man. That was Jesper Karlström. It goes out for a goal kick to Tunisia, and I think at the moment Tunisia have just got to try and keep Sweden out for the rest of this first half, because if they concede again it's all over.
Yeah, it's a bit damaging limitation at the moment. You said they've got to make sure worst ways they get in, with a 2-goal deficit. Just looking at the goal again on the replay, Shamak might say that he's taken a bounce in front of him, but he's got to be able to move his arms a lot quicker, to be able to react.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's still got to be better than that, hasn't he?
It's a routine save down to his left-hand side.
It is. And you mentioned it's that close to his feet. He literally could have stood up and controlled that, couldn't he? The shot wasn't hard. It hasn't beaten him for pace. It's just gone straight through him.
If it was Nick Pope or Fraser Forster, they'd have saved it with their feet.
Yeah, probably would have done. Here comes Bernardsson. He's trying to win a corner, and he has done. Good work from the full-back there, the right wing-back for Sweden. And Tunisia are under big pressure here. Ben Hamida concedes the corner, and again you'd imagine Sweden are going to take camp inside that 6-yard box and really try and put Muhib Shamak under more pressure.
Yeah, we just see the Swedish players, got 6 of them, just going to make sure that they just load themselves into the 6-yard box centrally. You see who's going to be the nuisance. Lagerbielke looks like he's the nuisance around Shamak, the goalkeeper. Just a lot of wrestling, a lot of holding going on.
Yeah, ball whipped in by Negron towards the far post. Keeper this time did get a good hand on it. It's palmed back, played back into the edge of the 6-yard box, and Gyökeres tried to lay it off, and the ball cleared away over on that far side. And now it'll be out for a throw-in. Referee is just remonstrating with the players.
You know when it's really humid, when Victor Gyökeres' hair goes out of place. When he's playing in the Premier League, his hair doesn't move. You look at him there, he's sweating like a racehorse.
Yeah, he is. One that's just done 3.5 miles at Cheltenham. Long throw about to be propelled in by Gudmundsson, the Leeds United fullback. He's over on that left-hand side. Again, 3 yellow shirts right in front of the goalkeeper here. You get the feeling his heart will be in his mouth every time it goes in the penalty area. Here comes the throw-in from Gudmundsson. It's a bit of a loopy one, but it's not dealt with at first. It fell on the chance for the volley from the edge of the area there for Karlström. Ball played in towards the edge of the box. Abdi will try and watch it out on the near side, but Isak's got in front of him, and Isak's won it and keeps it, and then may have got fouled. He's gone down. The referee says play on, and Sweden have it back.
Really good hold-up play from Isak on the right-hand side. That is facing the touchline. Said that Abdi was just trying to be a bit physical with him, made sure that he backed into him, just rolled it back to Bernardsson. That enables Sweden to keep themselves possession. And this is a game, there's very few games when you're playing that you can actually enjoy it, because of the pressure. But at the moment it looks like Sweden should enjoy themselves.
Yeah, they definitely look the more likely. Here's Isak, pops up on the right this time, drives forward, couple of step overs, moves it onto his left foot, tried to feed it into the edge of the area. Ayari went down, referee was having none of it. Tunisia try and break, but that's broken up quickly, and the pass misplaced by Karlström. Well, it's the first time in 32 years that Sweden have managed to score 2 goals in the first half, and they really have given themselves a wonderful opportunity here, leading by 2-0 with 38 on the clock.
Yeah, Khedira did really well there for Tunisia, because Sweden had a lot of bodies round the D on the edge of their 18-yard box and made sure that he went and marked Ayari. Just got a little shoulder on him, stopped the flowing move that Sweden were putting together.
Yeah, just hearing from our colleague Ben Jacobs, who's out in the States at the moment. He actually spoke to Yasin Ayari about his heritage. He was open to playing for Tunisia, but Ben said, having spoken to his dad felt that as a family they owed it to Sweden, the country that took them in, and therefore he plays for Sweden tonight. He scores the opening goal against the team he could have played for. It's one of those amazing stories.
Well, you'll see it as pulling at the heartstrings. I'll see it as his dad looking at the squad at Sweden's disposal and going, actually, look, they've got a better team. They got more chance.
Maybe.
Go and play for them.
Yeah. And speaking of, we mentioned Gyökeres and Isak teaming up for that goal. That's 18 goals in 12 starts now combined together. Gyökeres has got 12, Isak 6. They have got goals in this team. We mentioned we were worried about the other end. Well, they've not been tested too much at the other end, but they carry a genuine threat. And I think if you add Nygren into that mix, that front three is pretty much as good as any.
Yeah, we mentioned before the game we'll see playing as a front two, but what sort of happens is it's Gyökeres who's mainly the target man. You know, he engages the three centre halves and he's very physical.
Here's a chance now from the right ball, put in towards Gyökeres, who's stretched to the far post, just couldn't get on the end of Bernardsson's cross. Left foot from the right hand side was curling towards the far post. Gyökeres slid in but couldn't quite get his studs on the end of it. Still 2-0.
Yeah, just a little teaser from Bernardsson. Obviously the right wing back for Sweden's left footed, just comes in onto his left foot, just teases a little ball in. Gyökeres just trying to get himself around the back of the Tunisian defence, just probably like an old aluminium stud away from getting a little touch.
If he'd have had his rugby boots on, he might have got one there. And if he'd have had his rugby boots on, he probably wouldn't have been able to get there in the first place.
Well, I think Shamak had his diver's boots on, didn't he, for the second goal?
2-0 by Ari and Isak, but the second would have to go down as a goalkeeping error. Despite the good run and finish from Isak, it really should have been saved. Sweden attacking, but the ball overhit and Bernardsson can't keep it in. It's behind for a goal kick. 5 to go to half time, but we'll of course have at least 3 minutes added on for the hydration break. Live in Group F, the action in Monterrey. This stadium will hold 4 games in the tournament. And Tunisia, I think at the moment, Perry, they just want half time, don't they?
Yeah, they need to reset and regroup. I mean, if they obviously could nick a goal before a time, that would be great. It's just interesting little battles going on. The two 10s come together there, Nygren and Hannibal. But when Tunisia in possession, Nygren, who's playing in the 10 for Sweden, he makes sure that he goes on to Skiri, obviously the Tunisian captain. He's the one who wants to get him ticking over.
Yeah, Nygren's just getting a telling off here. I think Hannibal's reaction was a little bit excessive, wasn't it? Yes, it was a pretty cynical foul. It's on halfway. He's almost saying, look, you can have a free kick here, we're not bothered. There was an element of cynicism in it, and Hannibal not happy with that, and the referee said, look, I saw it, I'll give the free kick, get on with it.
Yeah, I think it was the little bit of the follow through that came, wasn't it, where Hannah was on the floor and then just a little knee.
Well, you mentioned he's normally good for a yellow card. Here comes Tunisia down their right hand side, can't find a cross, but it might fall for Hannibal. Doesn't break on the edge of the penalty area. They tried to feed Hannibal in, it's broken away. And Tunisia looking to try and reduce their arrears. The pass from Hannibal just sold too much to Goodmanson, and he slides in and clears it away. We're into the 43rd minute. Sweden 2, Tunisia 0.
Yeah, again, this is a little bit of quality when in possession. Tunisia, Rekic just, it's a simple ball out to Valery. If he hits it with a little bit more pace, it gets to him. But he just sort of scuffs it with the outside of his right foot. That enables Goodmanson to get his sliding tackle. Goes out for a long throw.
And here comes that long throw. This is a better long throw. It's flicked on but then cleared away at the near post by Rekic header and then cleared away by Sweden. Here's Hannibal wide on the right, whips in, across, flicked on, and it's in! Great goal from Omar Rekic. This time Hannibal gets the delivery right and Omar Rekic glances the header in at the far post. It's Sweden 2, Tunisia 1, and a lifeline for the African team.
Well, we said if they could nick a goal, it'd be a massive bonus. Really good play from Hannibal on the right hand side. It's a long throw initially from Valery that comes in. It gets cleared, then it's recycled. Valery just puts it back to Hannibal, and Hannibal this time just makes sure he misses the first man, and Rekic just getting the first contact, gets himself in front of Lagerbielka. Just a great glancing header, gives Nordfeldt in the Swedish goal absolutely no chance whatsoever. We said about Sweden conceding goals, that's the 12th game on the trot that they've conceded. So just pans over to Sabri Lamouchi, the Tunisian manager. He'll be absolutely delighted to get that goal that puts Tunisia right back in this game.
Yeah, Omar Rekic's first goal for Tunisia, just his 7th appearance. It was a beautiful header. And it is 2-1, and that really does put a different complexion on this match now. And Hannibal, who we mentioned earlier on, had a couple of really nice touches, found a delivery, and Rekic's header was pinpoint accurate in at the far post. And now this game takes an entirely different meaning. 2-2 in the earlier game, Netherlands-Japan, and we've had 3 goals in the first half already.
Do you know what happened there? It's just sort of lazy defending from Sweden, because they've just dropped deeper and deeper and deeper. Nobody goes out to stop the cross from Hannibal, and it's really good quality. Just making sure he doesn't hit the first man. Brilliant glance header from Rekic.
Here's Gyökeres down the other end, 2 on him. Good challenge comes in. Gyökeres though wins the throw-in. We're into the final minute of the 45. We will have at least 3 added on. We had a couple of little stoppages, but nothing too major on top of that. And now Sweden have a throw-in, and they're in no rush to take. No, so Rilamucci is saying here, come on, they need to get the ball back in play, but the ball's on the ground. Nobody's got near it.
So can't do the countdown. The referee can't get his big palm out to do the 5-second countdown, but just probably Gunnarsson now, long throw.
Yeah, launches it in. Ball towards the far post. I think this is going to be a foul throw. I think he was well over the line.
He ran on the pitch.
He did. He was on the pitch when he threw it in.
That should be a yellow card. Any professional footballer take a foul throw should be a yellow card. Seriously.
He's got his run up wrong, hasn't he? It took him an eternity to come over from the far side of the field. We're in the 4 added on minutes. Sweden 2, Tunisia 1. Great game here to start off your Monday. Plenty more action to come tonight as well from the FIFA World Cup. Sweden, who led by 2-0, courtesy of Yasin Ayari and Alexander Isak, before Omar Rekic's first international goal. What a stage to score it on as well. It's given Tunisia a lifeline.
We mentioned before the game, didn't we, with obviously the 2 10s, Nygren for Sweden and Hannibal for Tunisia, knew who could have an effect on the game. At the moment, you have to say it's Hannibal, because the cross that he put in was brilliant. He created 15 chances in their World Cup qualifying, so it's not as if Sweden wouldn't have been aware of him drifting around. And say it was just, in the end, it was lazy defending for Sweden, but now Tunisia have got some defending to do to make sure they don't concede just before half time.
Yeah, well, now going to look to put it in. Ayari it is who stood over the free kick. Graham Potter nervously looking on here, but his team are on the attack. He'll be hoping they can add to their lead again. Ball going to be swung in from the right by Ayari. Whips it in, but it's too deep. Keeper comes and collects. So if you've gone forward for that, and he's done that yesterday, Ayari, you'd be furious. And now the counter could be on here, but the ball headed away by Gudmundsson, picked up by Tunisia. There's still time in this half for them to strike again, as Hannibal feeds it wide on the right. Saad has it, edge of the area. Hannibal wanted it. Saad took a touch too many. He was looking to get it back. Wide on the right-hand side. Valery lays it back. Hannibal waits edge of the area. Are they going to play it? No, they're going to go over the top. It's a little bit too intricate, and Sweden eventually will just volley the ball away from danger. And maybe Tunisia there missed a chance, and now they've turned over the ball midway inside the Swedish half, and the ball not long, and Gyökeres is furious because he's run for the ball and it was nowhere near him.
Yeah, just looking again at Tunisia, good little build-up play. When it goes out to that right-hand side, Saad had a great chance to put the cross in. He decides not to. He gives it to Valery. He can put the cross in. He decides not to. And in the end, you said it gets a little bit too intricate, and then Tunisia's captain, Skiri, gives the ball away.
Well, here's a chance almost to get him behind. Ian will turn it away for Sweden, edge of his own area. And Sweden at the moment all of a sudden are looking a little bit wobbly at the back. And now there's a stoppage in play here, and the referee's not happy. Is this another 2 balls on the pitch situation?
I think what it was, it was the Tunisian manager, Sabri Lamouchi, wanting to get the ball and wanting to get started really quickly, and one of his coaching staff as well, coming out of the technical area.
Well, sliced up in the air by Sweden from 2-0 and looking absolutely comfortable. All of a sudden, the Swedes are on the wobble. Here's Saad down the right. 3 red shirts wait in the middle for the cross. It falls here 25 yards out. Here's Hannibal. What can he produce from here? Onto his right foot again. Looking, now comes to the left. What's his options? Abdi has it. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Not a lot of movement in front of him, but plenty of red shirts are forward here, but there's a silly little coming together. Referee I thought was going to stop play there. A Swedish player went down injured off the ball. Referee said get on with it.
Yeah, quite rightly, because Bernardsson has gone down. He had a little bit of a come together with Ben Samani, and in a million years the referee wasn't going to stop play, because obviously Tunisia have got it in Sweden's defensive third, and who'd have thought it? Bernardsson, a bit of Mr. Miyagi there from the Karate Kid with his hands on his own right boot. Thought, actually I better get up because I'm playing everybody on side.
Well, there goes the half-time whistle of what has been a really entertaining opening 45 minutes in Monterrey, and it was a dream start for the man of Tunisian heritage, Yassin Ayari, after the keeper came out to deny Alexander Isak. He palmed the ball. Gyökeres had a shot cleared off the line. It fell to Yassin Ayari, who volleyed it straight in the top corner into the Tunisian net to give Sweden the lead inside 7 minutes. They doubled that on half an hour. Alexander Isak, played in by Gyökeres down the left, had a lot of work to do, cut in and drove into the penalty areas. We've seen him do so many times in the Premier League. Worked it onto his right foot, hit a shot, not the most powerful, and it went through the goalkeeper and into the back of net at 2-0. And Tunisia looked in deep trouble, but they got a lifeline. Omar Rekik with the first Tunisian effort on goal, his first international goal after Hannibal's cross from the right hand side. He got a glancing header and it went in at the far post. It's all to play for here. Big opportunity for these two, but at the break it's Sweden with the advantage. They lead Tunisia by 2-1. Cheers, Ben. We are underway in Monterrey for the second half. Sweden leading by 2-1. Can they see the job out, or can Tunisia do what Japan did earlier on and secure a draw, having been behind? Goals from Ayari and Isak gave Sweden a 2-0 lead before Rekik with a goal just before the break. And it's interesting that Tunisia didn't concede in 900 minutes in qualifying, conceded 2 in the opening half an hour at the World Cup. I'll give you the teams. We'll start off with Sweden. Norfelt, the goalkeeper, Lagerbielke, Ian and Lindelof at the back, Bernardsson, Karlström, Ayari and Gudmundsson across the middle, with Nygren behind Isak and Gyökeres who lead the line. And for Tunisia, Shamak in goal. It's Valery, Talbi, Rekik and Ben Hamida at the back, Skiri and Kadira behind Abdi, Hannibal and Slimani, who are in support of Elis Saad, who leads the line. Perry Groves alongside me. No changes at the break, but how do you see the second half panning out?
Well, obviously we saw a little injection of sort of pace from Tunisia when they got themselves back into it, when Rekik got the goal, put themselves back in it, 1-2 down. And I think from Tunisia's point of view, they've got to try and get Hannibal on the ball a little bit more, because that 10 minutes before half-time whistle blew, he was the one who was conducting all the moves from Tunisia's point of view. Obviously, brilliant crossing for the goal. And just be interesting to see from Sweden as well, because up to like the half-hour mark, 35 minutes, Sweden had 70% possession, and they looked very comfortable though, didn't they? But all of a sudden, they just dropped that little bit deeper, and you can tell why they haven't kept a clean sheet for 12 games, because they look comfortable in possession, but you've got to make sure you switch on when you're out of possession. And they just went a little bit lackadaisy, and that's why Tunisia got themselves back in the game.
Yeah, Sweden have it in their yellow and blue shirts, and now, well, Gudmundsson was going forward, but he's upended. Is that going to be the first yellow card? The referee had a look, but then I think he's opted not to produce the yellow card there, and I think they can count themselves a little bit fortunate there. Tunisia with that one. It was Valery, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's committed 3 or 4 fouls now where he's just a little bit niggly. And this one where he tries to foul Gudmundsson the first time with his left foot, as he against him, Gudmundsson gets away from him, then he just hooks him away with his right foot. So Falcon Perez, the referee, I thought he refereed the game really well, although to be fair.
Yep.
So let's hope that he lets it flow.
Well, he's let it flow there, and I thought that was a foul on Sweden, and now Saad will bring it forward. He's looking to switch play. It was Ayari that was upended. Here now is Valery on the right. Here now is Hannibal, chance for Tunisia, edge of the area, cross comes shot, is blocked. There was an appeal, albeit a half-hearted one, from Kadira for a penalty for a handball, but the referee having none of that.
Yeah, Tunisia on the front foot. We begin this second half with 3 minutes played. Hannibal get himself on the ball in the inside right position, just a little ball fed in from Valery, then he just tries to roll it into Saad, who tries to get his cross. To be fair, it was good defending from Lindelof just made sure. But again, you look at Sweden now, they've gone passive, haven't they? Well, beginning this second half.
I said to you at half time, I wouldn't be surprised if Tunisia do get another goal in this game. Whether that'll be enough to get them a result, but noticeable the output from Sweden since that goal went in. They've got so edgy so quickly.
Yeah, it's like confidence has just been drained out of them, isn't it? Because they'd say they were good in possession, they were zipping the ball around, the Ira was getting himself on it, Nigran playing in that sort of 10 position.
Here's a cross in, it's one on the edge of the area, it might fall here for Valerie. He'll get it out wide to Hannibal on the right. Plenty of red shirts arriving. It's a cross that the keeper backpedaling in the end did well there. Nordfeldt, it's not a lot to do. He was almost caught out. I think it was a cross. Ended up being a shot from Hannibal, and the keeper manages to collect it. And Sweden on the break go down their right-hand side.
Yeah, Hannibal's just trying to dink it to the far post with Ben Samani coming in. Maybe I think he's got a bit more pace on it. Willow and just rip it across the 6-yard box. So it's like a little dinked sort of pitching wedge. In the end, it was quite an easy catch from Nordfeldt just underneath his crossbar.
Yeah. Well, there were plenty of red shirts waiting. I think that maybe was a criticism first half. When they had chances, they didn't cross it. Here now is Isak. He's got him behind after a defensive error. He puts the ball into the area. He was looking for Gyökeres. I think the flag might have gone up anyway, albeit belatedly. Isak and Gyökeres didn't know that. A little bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah, I think when Isak just gets himself away down that right-hand side, just goes a little bit early. Brilliant decision from the assistant who's on that far touchline, to be fair, because it was Isak's left shoulder that was offside. Just looking at Gyökeres there, maybe he should just be pulling away. So you go into near post first, then you pull away to the penalty spot, so his movement wasn't very good.
Yeah. Still 2-1, 5 gone, busy bumper day of World Cup action tonight. Spain, Cape Verde underway at 5, Belgium, Egypt at 8, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay at 11. Sports Breakfast with Andy Goldstein and Gabby Agbonlahor. Well, not too long after we've gone on air this morning.
See, it's Sweden this time now, dropped back into that 5-3-2 formation in their own half, where they've just let Tunisia have possession. At the moment, Tunisia not threatening, but Saad just drop a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and they're going to get a free kick here. Saad is bundled over. There was another foul after it as well. Karlstrom protests his innocence. Referee's not having that. And I think Tunisia here are in the ascendancy. If they can get the next goal, they may well go on and win this match.
Yeah, at the moment, Sweden are having their bellies tickled like a little Maltese terrier when they've gone on their back. I have to say, I think Saad has been really impressive for Tunisia. He's played up front, he's dropped deep, he's linked up play, he's looked to get in behind. He's one of those players that when you're playing against him, he's quite annoying, because he's so busy, and his technique's good. He gets the ball in, he holds it up. Now it's a free kick for Tunisia from about 30 yards out, dead centre.
Yeah, maybe a little bit further than that as well. You can't imagine they're going to shoot, and it is plumb centre. Straight in line with the 2 penalty spots at either end of the field. Hannibal, as expected, is stood over it.
I think Hannibal's going to go for the Cristiano Ronaldo, where you put your foot right through the valve bit of it and try and get some movement.
Okay, well, there's a straight run up, and he's looking at goal. Here he comes, right-footed, he does hit it, and it's straight over the top. Still 2-1. That was ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, that was more like McDonald rather than Cristiano Ronaldo, to be fair. So he just leant back. Didn't really look like he had the courage and conviction, did he, that he was going to... If you're going to do that, worst plays out, you make sure that you keep it low and you make the goalkeeper make a save, even if you smash it straight at him, so that your forwards can get spun and try and get onto the rebound.
Well, Sweden are trying to play out from the back here. Nordfeldt will play it out on the near side to Victor Lindelof. He'll roll it back to his goalkeeper. 2-1, 7 gone second half.
Just see Victor Lindelof, we said about his leadership qualities, obviously going to Aston Villa, just trying to tell his Swedish teammates to give a big calm down gesture, didn't he there, especially to Nordfeldt, the goalkeeper, just to say, we've got to try and take the sting out of this game, because he knows that they're under pressure, and say Tunisia in the ascendancy.
Yeah, referee's played advantage here. There's a couple of fouls gone in. Here's Gyökeres bursting forward. He's going to shoot from the edge of the box. It'll fall to Isak down the right side of the penalty area. Gyökeres, Nigran wide in the middle. Here's Isak now. And after all that, the offside flag has gone up. Now, I can only imagine that is against Isak here. And there are a few bodies on the ground. Referee's just going to stop play, and he is actually going to issue a yellow card here. We mentioned he had played an advantage, but he is going to issue the yellow card to the experienced midfielder, Khedira.
Yeah, just a little bit late with his tackle on Kallstrom. So he played a good advantage again, the referee. Just made sure, that Sweden kept possession. Rani Khedira, it's the first yellow card of the game. Obviously he's got a very famous brother, World Cup winner, Sami Khedira for Germany.
Yeah. Khedira, the first player into the book, and I think you can only say the referee's been fair, and probably that was warranted.
As well, what I like about Falcon Perez, the referee, the Argentine referee, it's not about him. It's not mean he hasn't made. You see some referees that they want to be centre of attention, and you just let the game flow around him. And even when he's talking to players, you can tell that he's managing the game.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to manage a corner here for Tunisia after the ball turned behind by Isaac Hien. And it is a corner here, and they are just looking a little bit fragile, this Sweden defence here. Plenty of red shirts arriving now as they look to hunt down an equaliser. They were 2-0 down, remember, 2 minutes before the break. Hannibal comes to deliver it. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. The Tunisian fans raise the volume here.
Hannibal's got to make sure that he doesn't hit the first Swedish defender at the near post. So he's got to make sure he gets it over Bernardsson.
Which he does that. It's a great ball in, and they were arriving red shirts, but it was headed away. Talby tried to rise in front of goal. Here's Hannibal again, whips in a looping cross. It's headed away, and then theatrically falling down is a Swedish player, but the break's on here. Here's Gyökeres. Isak holds his run. Can Gyökeres find him? He might have gone too soon. I think he's offside here, Isak. He held on for as long as he could. Gyökeres there had time to make a cup of tea before he passed it. Took too long.
Yeah. Isak's really disappointed because there's a 2v2. If Gyökeres plays it a little bit earlier, then Isak is in, and he's trying to hold his run. To be fair, in the end, Tunisia get their bodies back. Sad actually was the last defender, the Tunisian centre forward, who got himself back to help his team out, and he was the one who played Isak offside. But there's a big chance there for Sweden on the counter-attack. So Gyökeres took far too long.
Yeah, he had half the field, didn't he, to roll the ball into when he first got it, and he just held on, and Isak eventually just went offside.
Well, when he first had it, Isak was in his own half. That's when you actually just put it into the space.
Yeah. You mentioned that in the first half, in the build-up to the first goal, did really well to stay on side. He's very aware, Isak, and he tried his best to hold on, but he had to go forward at some point. And now Tunisia win the ball back inside their own half. They flick it forward. Here's Hannibal, turns and now breaks forward himself. He's got Jan Valery out to his right. That's where the ball goes now. Midway inside the Sweden half. Back to Hannibal. Only one red shirt in the box at the moment, so they'll square the ball across, and now it's going down the far side, and here's a chance for Ben Hamida. Plays it in. There was a bit of a half-hearted flick there from Khedira, who maybe had a little bit more time than he thought there. Could have had a touch in the box.
Yeah, it was really good play from Tunisia down their right-hand side. Again, it's that man Hannibal get himself on the ball, just pings it out to Ben Hamida on the left. He said there, Khedira makes a really good run. He's got all the time in the world. He tries to flick it where he should be controlling it.
Yeah. Here forward goes Sad down the left edge of the area, puts the ball into the far post. It's a brave header at the back from Gudmundsson, who got a bit of a clattering off Jan Valery, but it was a header he had to go for. Very reminiscent of that Qatari equaliser the other night. Cross to the far post, but the header not met by the Tunisian attacker. It was a good header from Gudmundsson.
Yeah, just needed a little bit more leverage on the cross there from the right hand side from Sad. Again, being nice and busy for Tunisia, but it's really good defending from Gudmundsson in the left back position, not left wing back. Made sure he got in and protected his centre halves. Got the header first. Valery come a little bit late. Quite rightly, the referee gave the free kick.
Yeah. Sweden 2, Tunisia 1. Remember, early on in this group last night, Netherlands 2, Japan 2. So whoever can get the win here would be top of the group. And here's Isak down the left-hand side. Holds it up, lays it back here, and a chance now if they want with Goodmanson. He'll lay it back now to Lindelof. Lindelof midway inside the Tunisian half. Left-hand side of the field. Now the cross is whipped in towards Gyökeres. It's too deep. And over his head from Ayari. And behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think just a little bit too keen there, Ari. When they do it up down that left-hand side for Sweden. And he's got better delivery in that. He doesn't actually have to put the ball into the box because Gyökeres is being marked by 3 Tunisian players. So maybe just come back out.
Coming out there was the keeper, Shamak, who safely handles this time. Oh, the ball given away though. Isak's won it back on the edge of the area. Feeds it to Gyökeres, in on goal! And it's 3-1. Victor Gyökeres with a goal. The man whose goals fired Sweden through the playoffs. Isak wins it on the edge of the box. It's a howling error from Skahiri. He loses possession. Isak feeds Gyökeres and Gyökeres makes no mistake. Sweden 3, Tunisia 1.
What is Skahiri doing? The Tunisian captain, you know, you want to lead by example. That's just a bad example. He gets the ball from Shamak, just takes too many touches. That enables Isak to go and close him down. Isak thinks he's going to get the shot away, but then it just ricochets over to Gyökeres, and be fair to Gyökeres, he just makes sure that he gets the ball out of his feet with his right foot. He just smashes it past Shamak low down to the goalkeeper's left-hand side. Really good finish from Victor Gyökeres, but just self-destruct there from Tunisia. So just far too long. Skiri, the Tunisian captain on the ball, gets his pocket picked from Isak. You can see that then Skiri puts his head in his hands. Just cost his team. That could have cost his team the game, Willow, because Tunisia were looking the better side. Just really lazy, sloppy play from their captain, Tunisia's captain. Really good finish from Gyökeres, putting Sweden 3-1 up against Tunisia at the Monterrey Stadium.
Yeah, Gyökeres adds to his growing tally for his country, and he celebrates as Skahiri is devastated. He equalled the record tonight for Tunisia, playing in the 3rd World Cup. Played every minute in 2018 and 2022, but that is a minute he would love to forget because he's caught in possession. Isak and selfish fed Gyökeres, and Gyökeres did the business. Sweden 3, Tunisia 1.
If you're going to go and get it off your goalkeeper, Skiri, worst ways out, you make sure you take at maximum 2 touches. You know, he's got it from out his feet, add another touch. Isak thinks, like, I can come and close you down. So just when actually Tunisia are having their best period of the game, where say Sweden have gone a little bit passive, then they've given another goal away.
Yeah, here's Hannibal. The 2-goal deficit is once again reinstated, and now there's more danger. Hannibal caught in possession. Isak can't get on the end of the pass. Rekic intercepted it, played it forward, and now that's good work from Jan Valery. He's down the right hand side. Goodmanson will poke it out for a corner, and he says he needs to come off. Goodmanson felt something in that challenge, and he said he needs to come off. So a change enforced here on Graham Potter in Sweden, and it'd be interesting. I'm surprised he hasn't just sat down here waiting for the physio to come on.
Yeah, it's not very good game management, is it, from Goodmanson, to be fair, because he's actually said to Graham Potter, you've got to take me off, but then he's actually gone back into the 6-yard box to try and defend the corner.
Yeah, that seems, well, now I think they're going to make the change. Well, he's coming out of the penalty area. I think they've realised that he's not able to defend. Corner is a shocker. Bounces before it reached the near post, and it's hammered away and out for a throw-in. And he's still hobbling around, Goodmanson here. Bit of a passenger at the moment. As Isak, did he foul Hannibal? No. Then he was brought down and it's play on. Referee again plays a good advantage, and Gyökeres is bursting down the left. He's got support in the middle. Gyökeres wanted to go on his right foot, and it's a great tackle there. A must-make tackle from Ben Hamida on the cover to save Tunisia.
Yeah, Gyökeres should be going on the outside. Ben Hamida just made sure he's covering, come across on that left-hand side in the centre-half position. Gyökeres is 1v1. I think he should be going on the outside with him. But to be fair to Ben Hamida, he knows that Gyökeres wants to go onto his right foot, so he just sticks out like an Inspector Gadget left foot, doesn't he? Just gets a little nick away from him.
Well, he did what his teammate Talby didn't do at the other end of the field. Stayed close and kept the danger away. Hannibal's won a free kick. Lindelof has bundled him over. So 3-1, and here come the changes, and there are going to be multiple changes as well for Sweden. So Gudmundsson, we know, will be going off. He's one of those to be replaced. Coming on, Lucas Bergvall is stripped and ready to go. He'll be coming into the action imminently.
Semi-automated offside replay on the screen.
La repetición de las imágenes de las tecnologías.
So Gudmundsson is hobbling off. He is about to be replaced. Well, he's taking his time. He is injured, in fairness. The physio is escorting him off the field.
It looks like he might have done his calf. He's just, way that he's sort of hobbling off.
Just seen a replay of that horrendous error from Skiri. Gyökeres made no mistake. First time finish for him. 4 goals in the 2 playoff matches. He's got 1 now in the World Cup proper. And it means that it's 3-1 here. And you can't help but feel that Tunisia's problems have been largely of their own making, be it goalkeeping errors or getting caught in possession on the edge of your own box. Elliot Stroud is the one that's come on for Gudmundsson. So it's Stroud who's come on, Bergvall on as well, and that is a horrible free kick. 30 yards out, and it's gone about 10 yards over the byline on the full.
He's just supposed to be easing it into the 18-yard box. You said there, just smashed it over the crossbar. Obviously Bergvall's come on just to give him a bit of legs in the midfield area, just provide him with a little bit of energy.
Yes, so Stroud and Bergvall come on. Gudmundsson and Nygren are the players that make way. Here's Gyökeres, and what this does do now is Tunisia's got to go chase the game. It opens it up on the break for Sweden, who look so dangerous going forward.
Yeah, well, what they'll do is say Sweden will be in no hurry. They'll hope that they manage the game a little bit better than what they did in the first half, where they couldn't concede in the 43rd minute where Rekic got Tunisia back in the game. And all they'll do is they'll go back into the 5-3-2 formation. They'll just leave Gyökeres up front his own with Isaac, just sort of scouting behind him.
Here's Gyökeres on the turn in the box, and he smashes one over. That was a chance for a man of his ability. And Gyökeres, head in hands, looks on as the ball balloons high over the bar. It's still 3-1.
Yeah, Tunisia just giving the ball away really cheaply from the left back position. So it comes to Gyökeres, gets his first touch on the half turn. As the ball sits up, he should be getting his right knee over it. And just smashes the ball over, Shubak's crossbar. Worst plays out, he should be hitting the target.
Approaching 66 on the clock here, and it's advantage Sweden in Monterrey. Reminder, the Swedes will take on Netherlands in Houston on the 20th of June. Meanwhile, Tunisia will be back here in Monterrey taking on Japan.
Yeah, just looking at Bergvall, he'll go and play in the 10 position, just to like for like with Nygren. But then he'll drop back and just make sure that he's in the midfield free. Defensively with Kallstrom and Ayari.
Here come Tunisia again. Time ticking away. Here now is Saad has it. He'll feed it across to Hannibal. The one bit of quality he has produced, they've come up with a goal. He needs more of that quality as they give the ball away. Bergvall nicks it. He feeds Gyökeres. Isak is bursting forward again. Is Gyökeres going to find him this time? He does play it early. Isak into the edge of the area, onto his right foot. Cuts away from 2, shot blocked. Good defending that time from Tunisia. Back to Gyökeres. He has it now.
There's the threat from Sweden on the counter-attack. So Tunisia giving the ball away cheaply in the left wing position. Gyökeres and Isaac stand up front. Comes to Gyökeres in the centre circle. This time he puts it quickly out to Isaac on the left hand side. Talby does well, because that's what he should have done in the first half when Isaac cut inside him, where he's letting cut inside, but he's made sure that he's only half a yard away from him so he can get the block.
Yep, Sweden on the attack again. Bergvall's made a run in behind. He's got Gyökeres square in the middle. Crosses it to Gyökeres. He's just over him. And an athletic effort. Couldn't turn the ball goal bound. If that's a couple of feet lower, it would have been a tap-in for the big Swede. 3-1.
Yeah, you can see Tunisia have completely lost their shape, completely lost their confidence. Bergvall does brilliantly, gets down that right-hand side, and on the volley, just tries to ease it to the far post. Again, just a little bit too much purchase on it, because Gyökeres is unmarked on the far post. Just tried the acrobatic athletic overhead kick, really had no chance of getting anywhere near it, Willow, to be fair.
Here's the hydration break. 68 on the clock in Monterrey. Sweden 3, Tunisia 1. They were 2-0 up inside half an hour. Goals from Yasin Iari and Alexander Isak. Omar Rekik give Tunisia hope at the end of the first half, and they were better start of the second half, the African team, but a howling error from Skiri. Give the ball to Isak. He fed Gyökeres, who finished first time for 3-1. Victor Gyökeres has scored double the goals of anybody else in a Sweden shirt in the last 3 years. 18 of them he's got in the last 3 years. Alexander Isak's got 9. Ken Semmer, who's on the bench tonight, he's got 5.
Yeah, that was his 21st goal for Sweden. Put him 3-1 up. Alexander Isak, that was his 18th in the first half, put Sweden 2 up. And you just tell that they've got a good working relationship up front. You know, there's no throwing your arms up in the air. You know, Gyökeres could have sort of freed Isak a couple of times a little bit earlier, but if you think about it, they've made a goal for each other.
Yeah, they have. And what I would say, Perry, they're both willing to do the running, aren't they? They're both willing to do the hard work. There's no fancy stuff. They do the hard work first.
Yeah, they do the grafting, so they get their defensive duties done. We said about Sweden going into the 5-3-2 formation when we're out of possession, but when they go back into their own half, apart from, I have to say, the first 10 minutes of the second half where Sweden did go a little bit passive, you know, where Tunisia were getting past and Hannibal was getting himself on the ball, getting it into Sad, and all of a sudden then it's just a shocking individual error from Tunisia's captain Skiri, and he's put his team, which I think now, out of the game, because it looks like they've lost that belief. You know, they knew they were in the game and they were on top, and all of a sudden, you know, an individual error like that from their captain then basically curtails any chance of getting back into it.
Well, there's still 20 minutes left, plus any added on time, but it's Sweden who had to work hard start of the second half. We're just looking at, everyone's doing the Victor Gyökeres celebration, the hands across underneath the eyes and across the face.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't know whether to have their palms facing outwards or palms facing inwards.
If you're going to do it, Perry, you've got to do it right, haven't you?
Especially if you're wearing a Mexican sombrero as well.
And Potter looks quite cool and calm and collected at the minute.
He's actually just loosened his tie. Still got his top button done up, but he's loosened his tie.
He is. I'll go back to the point of it in the first half. I think he's thinking, shouldn't have gone with a suit jacket first. Could have always put it on after.
At least he ain't got a waistcoat. He ain't gone for the Gareth Southgate sweaty waistcoat, has he?
That would have been a problem, I think. 77% humidity in Monterrey. Right, here come the changes for Sabri Lamucci. He's going to make a trio of changes, and they need these. Skiri, his night is over. He goes off. He is replaced. Also coming off, I'm a little bit surprised about this. Elias Saad is making way. Well, he's played pretty well tonight. Certainly run himself into the ground. He'll be a threat in the remaining group games. And Tunekti is the one that comes on in his place. And also coming off is Jan Valery has made way. So Jan Valery is one that has gone off. We'll run you through those that have come on here then. So also coming on then is Elias Ashuri. Plays his football in Denmark with Copenhagen. He comes on for Skiri. Sad replaced by Tunekti, and Jan Valery was replaced by Haj Mahmoud, replaced for Lugano in Switzerland.
Yeah, just again all like for likes. Valery was a threat down that right hand side. You know, maybe his final pass could have been a little bit better.
Number 20, Jan Valery.
Well, they have to do something here. They've got 18 minutes remaining. Sports breakfast not too far away for those of you early rising on your way to work. Another busy week ahead, but lots of football, including today across the TalkSport network. We'll be back at it at 5 o'clock this afternoon with Adrian Durham. He'll be presenting all the action early in the evening as Spain take on Cape Verde and Belgium take on Egypt tonight.
Mahmoud.
That third goal certainly has eased the pressure on Sweden. Sabrina Mucci is pensive in his technical area. He's not happy now because the play has just slowed down a little bit, which doesn't help his side one bit.
No, I said they got a little bit ragged when they conceded the third goal from Victor Gyökeres, where Bergau showed a little bit more composure. Gyökeres marked on the far post, we could just nodded it in. But now say the game was just settled down a little bit more. Mahmoud just coming out in that right wing back position for Tunisia.
Yeah, he was busy, wasn't he, Valerie? Certainly in the first half he was up and down that touchline, but not really had much of an impact in the second half here. Tunisia attacking the goal away to our right, trailing by 3-1. Can they get a second? If they can, then we're in for a grandstand finish. But as we saw earlier on in the group, Japan scoring really late in the piece to deny the Netherlands a win in the opening game in this group. And that was, well, again, what we are seeing from this referee, players throwing themselves on the floor and not getting free kicks.
It's quite refreshing to see, though, to be fair. He's telling, just gesturing to get up.
Yeah, although when Bergvall puts in a rugby tackle, the referee probably has got to give that one. Foul on Hannibal. But Sweden, I think, just happy just to break the game up at the moment. Just really put the pressure on.
Yeah, they just conceding possession, dropping back into own half. Isaac just dropping a little bit deeper for Gyökeres.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, is it, for Tunisia from here? You wouldn't expect it to be, but they showed they can create chances. Here they're coming now. Tanecki gets it away. Slimani, edge of the area, just wanders to the left of the penalty box. There are 2-3 red shirts waiting for a cross, but again Tunisia just a little bit reluctant to put it into the box. They have it down the left now, and that's good defending over on the far side for Bernardsson. And they bring the ball away and just ease it towards halfway, where Gyökeres will hold it up and wait for teammates to arrive. Back to Gyökeres, finds Isak. Isak looks up, there's support arriving here down the left-hand side, and here now is a chance, a burst of pace from Stroud, tried to put the cross in, it's deflected behind for a corner. That was nice from Sweden.
Really good centre-forward play from Victor Gyökeres, just taking the ball in tight areas, first on the left-hand touchline, and just making sure that he's keeping hold of the ball. Then he just comes into the centre circle, he plays it into Isak then plays it out to Sweden's left-hand side. Stroud tries to get down the left, defender gets a block, corner for Sweden on the left-hand side.
Yeah, once again there's all in and around Shamak. Referee's seen something here, he's getting excited, he's marching over to let his thoughts be known here. There are literally 15 players in about 4 square metres here. Get it in the middle of that lot and see what happens. Ball headed away from the 6-yard line. Stroud just volleys it up in the air. Underneath it is Isak, tried to win the header. I think he might have used his arm in the process, and it's a free kick to Tunisia. 14 left, Sweden 3, Tunisia 1.
To be fair, all Sweden do, Ayari goes and takes the corner from the left-hand side, in swinging with his right foot. It's just a fight ball. It's not even, they said there's 6 Swedish bodies all in the 6-yard box, all around Shamak, the Tunisian goalkeeper, and there actually isn't any movement. Normally when you put your players there, one will go near post, then spin round the back, or one will come from the back into the near post, get a flick on. Basically it's just a fight ball. I mentioned before, it's like Aussie rules, where you're just easing it into the 6-yard box and you hope that you get the knockdown.
Tunisia at walking pace at the moment. The conditions having an impact. Not the best pass to Rekik, who did well. His goal looked like it was going to give Tunisia a way back in, but an awful error from Skiri ended that hope just as soon as it started. Here's Abdi down the left, his header is cleared away. Hannibal plays it across field, that's cut out by Stroud, who's operating at left back in place of Gudmundsson, who went off what we think may be a calf problem. Forward now comes the substitute, Achuri.
Yeah, Achuri's gone up front in place of Siaden, and Tanecki has gone out on that left-hand side. It's quite surprised actually that Siaden got taken off, because I know you have to manage players' minutes in this heat and humidity, but he was very, very lively up front. He was the one who was holding it up, he was the one who was coming a bit deeper.
Yeah, he was very much the link man, wasn't he? And I'm with you, I was surprised when they took him off. We've just seen Ashuri just go offside here, and again we had that passage where they let play go on, and then the flag goes up belatedly. And time ticking away, 12 remaining, full house in Monterrey. And they'll be back in a few days' time as Tunisia take on Japan, which now becomes a massive game. Japan getting a draw early on against the Netherlands. As Gyökeres chases down the ball, kicks it in down by the corner flag. Strong challenge comes in there from Mahmoud. Ball slides in, and Mahmoud thunders in again, but it's out for a throw-in near the halfway line.
Yeah, good physicality there from Mahmoud. Gyökeres did really well initially, just keeping the ball in the corner, using his body. But Mahmoud just made sure, come on the side of him, just shoulder him out the way.
Gyökeres just trying to hold it up. Ball ricochets forward. Lindelof will intercept it. He finds Ayari's goal. Got the party started for the Swedes. Here's Isak. Wide on the left. Looks to play in the ball. Looking towards the far post where they were arriving Sweden, but the ball was cleared away before it made its way through to that far post area.
And again, link-up play from Gyökeres and Isak on this left-hand side. Isak just trying to feed it along the 6-yard box. In the end, it was good defending from Rekic, just making sure he just stayed in the zone in the middle of the 6-yard box. Sometimes you've got to mark space rather than a player.
Here's Mahmoud, looks for the crossfield switch, finds a teammate over the halfway line. Forward go the red shirts of Tunisia, trailing by 2 goals here. Looking to try and find a way back in against the odds. At 2-1 they were very much in the battle as once again Hannibal overhits the pass, and it's all the way through to Nordfeldt, who's had very, very little to do tonight, the Swedish keeper.
Yeah, just a little bit too straight there from Hannibal, picking up the 10 position. Just looking at Tunisia, when they were on top of that first 10 minutes of the second half, they had a really good shape. Obviously they had their wing backs, Ben Hamid on the left hand side and Valerie on the right hand side. Now it just looks like it's a little bit narrow, and what happens is when you get a little bit desperate, you tend to lose that team shape. It's exactly what Tunisia have done since they've gone 3-1 down. So they're just sort of scratching around. The game's become a little bit bitty, so neither team was really dominating possession, which actually suits Sweden.
Yeah, does indeed. We're seeing the Swedish subs warming up. You wonder if Gyökeres and Isak will see out the full 90 here. There's challenges down the line. The Netherlands waiting Houston in match day 2 in this group before they face Japan in Dallas in 10 days' time. 104 games, all of them live across the TalkSport network, and they're coming at you thick and fast in the group stages. More to come tonight.
Yeah, there's not the energy now from Tunisia to close down. Ben Somali's gone a little bit more central with Achuri just to the right of him. And in the first sort of 70 minutes, they were actually letting Sweden have and then going closing down and doing it with a lot of energy. But we say with the humidity at 77%, it's impossible to keep that going for the full 90 minutes.
Yeah, Ismail Garbi is about to come on, the man who plays for Braga, 22 years of age, about to come on for his 18th cap. With Nordfeldt. Well, there were frailties that I'm sure that Netherlands and Japan will feel they can test out of the back against Sweden. But if they do hang on here, the Swedes, 3 points will give them a huge opportunity to get through to the knockout stages once again. Here's Bergvall, goes forward, just pokes the ball out wide, gets it back level with the edge of the Tunisian penalty area. Lovely quick feet, keeps the ball away from the opposition players. And Sweden now closing in on victory, and now a silly free kick given away by Ali Abdi.
Yes, exactly what you want from your, I would say substitutes then, but they're not their finishers or impactors now, aren't they? Yeah. Can't do them a disservice. But Bergvall's come on, and we said obviously with the energy that he brings, just making sure that he's very good technically as well, just good link-up play with Bernardson on that left-hand side, getting 3 or 4 little give and goes together, just trying to run the clock down.
Yeah, Rani Khedira makes way. He is replaced by Ismail Garbi. And also coming off is Anis Slimani. So the fourth and fifth changes for Lamouchi. Also coming on for a Shawat. So changes are plenty here.
Double substitution for Tunisia.
Karlstrom has made way, and he's replaced by Svonberg.
Number 25, Anis Slimane, is
All
replaced.
played into the edge of the area. Chance here, and the man who's just walked on the field has tucked it in the back of the net. What a first touch that is! Sweden 4-1, but the offside flag has gone up. It was Svonberg who's just walked on. He's been on the field 5 seconds. He thought he'd scored. The referee says it's offside.
Well, we said about impactors and finishers. Svonberg was exactly both of them. Made a massive impact, brilliant finish. We said there maybe just went a little bit too early. Assist on the far side, put his flag up. Obviously there'll be a look, yeah, but he's a good.
Yeah, but Isak touches the ball first.
If Isak touches it, because Svonberg is, when the initial free kick comes in, Svonberg is 2 yards offside. So then it comes to Isak. It's whether Isak touches it or not.
Well, they've shown us the automated offside. He's right offside. There's no doubt about that. But the question is, does Isak touch it? I thought he did.
If Isak touches it, then obviously the Tunisian back five will come back and they play him onside. Isak's telling the referee that he hasn't touched it on the first look. Sorry, he has touched it because it looked like it come off of his right foot.
This is still being looked at.
Offside replay on the screen.
La repetición de las imágenes de la tecnología.
Well, the automated offside will say that he's offside. However, Isak is saying, I touched the ball here. Now, this is being checked by VAR. And I think this has got a good chance of standing.
It looked like Isak is saying to the referee, Yalfakan Perez, that he's actually touched it with the outside of his right foot. And then that actually plays Svonberg onside. And it's a really good little finish with his right foot across his body. So it's a long VAR check. So
this must be the fastest goal ever by a substitute. He was on the field about 5 seconds. The Swedish players are being told to go away. The referee on field now.
After review, the player number 19 is in onside position. Final decision, goal.
Goal is given, and Matthias Svonberg has scored. He still doesn't know. The referee's given it, and now he celebrates. Now he gets to celebrate his goal. The man who plays for Wolfsburg in Germany came on as a substitute literally seconds before he took the ball home, and Sweden have a fourth, and they have an opening night win in Group F.
this football art's quite easy, Willow, isn't it, to be fair? When you're Graham Potter, you go on then, Svonberg. He's actually put Svonberg on to sort of hold in the midfield area, you know, to give Sweden a little bit more control. And it's a really poor free kick initially from the right-hand side where it's snapped in low. Svonberg had said on the initial free kick he's about 2 yards offside. Then because obviously all the Tunisian defenders then come back, and Isak's at the near post, he gets the touch of the outside of his right foot, he just flicks it on, it comes to Svonberg, and just with his right foot, he just makes sure he gets in front of Ben Hamida, and just sweeps it across his body, gives Shamak in Tunisia got absolutely no chance whatsoever. And just really, really sloppy play from Tunisia's point of view, but really sharp from Svonberg. Obviously he'd done his warm-up properly. Graham Potter just looks to his right-hand side to one of his coaching staff. They eyes meet to say, this is quite easy. I told you that's what we want. An impact and a finisher.
Officially 18 seconds he was on the field, so not quite as quickly as we thought, Perry, but still it's pretty impressive.
And it was a pretty impressive first touch.
But apparently that is a joint record, so we weren't far away. Apparently a Uruguayan sub, Richard Paredes, scored in 2002, 18 seconds after coming on, so a bit of history, and there might be more here. Gyökeres lays it back to Isak, beaten away by Shamak. Tunisia falling apart here late in the game. Sweden 4-1 to the good, and Gyökeres almost set up Isak for a second.
Isak should be scoring. Again, it's that link-up play down the left-hand side with Gyökeres and Isak. Gyökeres just feeds it inside to Isak. Isak gets it on his right foot, Nishibi actually started it out about 2 yards outside of Shamak's far left-hand post, and in the end he just bends it into Shamak, and in the end it's a simple save for the goalkeeper.
Swanberg denied the celebration because the flag went up as soon as he took the ball in the back of the net, but then got to celebrate. And even then, when the referee announced it on the field, the players didn't hear him. They still didn't know it was a goal until he pointed to the centre spot. And it's Sweden 4, Tunisia 1. Well, mistakes have been costly for Tunisia, but that was a nice finish, and we're about to see another couple of substitutions for the Swedes here. Graham Potter is emptying his bench, and he's about to bring on a couple more substitutes. Daniel Svensson, the Dortmund player, about to come on alongside Anthony Elanga, the Newcastle star. Here's Bergvall. Sweden in the mood for more goals here. They're racing forward again, but Hannibal got back and got a vital foot in.
Yeah, just looking, obviously, the substitution that Graham Potter's made, his bench is a lot stronger than Tunisia's.
Well, here's Bergvall in on goal, and that's a great saving challenge there, and it had to be from Mohamed Amin Ben Hamida to deny Bergvall, who was clean in on goal.
Again, it's Victor Gyökeres just took the ball off on the left-hand side, outside his right foot, flicks it in to Bergvall. Bergvall should be getting his shot away a little bit earlier. Ben Hamida does really well, slides in, gets the block. So Bergvall will be very disappointed. So he hasn't dinked it over Shamak. Tunisia has completely lost their shape, lost their discipline.
Isak flicked it on at the near post, and it's a lovely volley, just side foot sweeps it past the keeper, who had no chance. And at 4-1, Alexander Isak gets a breather for the final few seconds. He's replaced by Anthony Elanga, and also Bernardsson goes off, and he's replaced by Daniel Svensson. Well, this has been a pretty decent opening night for Sweden. 4 goals, and there might be more to come. We're into added on time. Corner whipped into the far post. Shamak did well. The keeper gets a hand on it, and it'll roll all the way out. We're still none the wiser as to how long he's going to be added on here. There's a ball out of play over on the far side. 6 minutes added on time. Sabri Lamouchi looks on. His side on the back foot early on here, with Japan and Netherlands to come. Those two shared the points earlier on in Group F last night, live on TalkSport, and plenty more live football to come later on today as well. The likes of Spain and Belgium in action as they make their World Cup bow in 2026. Ball played forward by Sweden, and Tunisia, well, they've had enough. If this was a boxing match, they'd have thrown in the towel long ago.
Yeah, very much so. And you say that the games have massive turning points, and it was obviously when Tunisia's captain Skiri actually got himself caught on the ball by Isak, and that enabled Gyökeres to put Sweden 1-0 up, and that was when actually Tunisia were in the ascendancy, dominating possession.
Lindelof has given away a free kick, and he's raging at the official, saying, how is that a foul? Well, even with just 4 minutes of added on time left, Lindelof is arguing every decision. They don't want to concede another goal. Who knows, it might be goal difference at the end of the group stage that leads to qualification or elimination. But this is a big win for Sweden. Ball now whipped in, cleared away by Bergvall. It'll fall edge of the area. Now a cross shot is fired in, and it's beaten away by Nordfeldt. Got a good hand on it, but then a foul given away by Tunisia, and that will eke some more seconds off the clock.
Really good strike from Maturi. 25 yards out, just getting the ball out of his feet with his right foot. Just puts his laces through it, goes straight at Nordfeldt, just has a little bit of a swerve. To be fair to Nordfeldt, just gets 2 strong fists to it, ends up punching it away.
Yeah, we've just seen the football equivalent of the snicko in the cricket, saying that it did hit Isak's boot. It was a flick. It was a horrible cross, to be fair.
So is that the bootometer, not the snickometer?
I don't know.
The studometer.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. They've got everything now, haven't they?
To be fair, well, it's the right decision, which is great.
Yeah.
But it didn't normally take that long, because yourself and myself could actually see straight away that Isaac had got a touch with the outside of his right foot.
Yeah, it did look like he'd got it. I guess they're best to check these things, and the ball went in the net. I guess the big thing is that the official flagged after, if you like, so the ball had gone in the net, and then the flag went up, so they checked it after, and all was well for Sweden. 4-1 they lead. 2 goals in each half. Is there a late response for Tunisia? They're working it down their left-hand side, but once again flagged offside, and that, I think, is Taneki, who's a couple of times been found in an offside position.
Yeah, just went a little bit too early. Taneki, so that little bit of frustration. Got 15 seconds left of the added on time. Graham Potterby absolutely delighted with the result. Maybe not necessarily, the full performance, because they went passive for that sort of 10 minutes in the first half and the 10 minutes beginning of the second half, where they dropped a little bit too deep. But when you've got Gyökeres and Isaac up front, you've always got a chance.
Yeah. Couple of goals between them tonight. They've linked up beautifully. They maybe, you could argue, maybe should have had 1 or 2 more as well. But they have linked up, and Sweden have got a threat at the top end of the pitch. Yes, they look fragile at the other end, and I'm sure the Netherlands will be taking in this footage ahead of their clash in Houston in a few days' time. But this is a group that's promising and delivering plenty of goals so far.
Well, talking about goals, 6 of Sweden's last 7 games we've actually seen 4 goals or more.
Yeah.
So they are the ticket that you want.
Yeah, they certainly are. 4-1, and we're into the 5th of 6 added on minutes, and the game petering out here. Although you'd have to say Sweden are far from taking their foot off the gas. They're still going forward. They fancy a 5th goal. Just the 2nd time in their World Cup history they've scored more than 4. They might be about to get another one here. Shot comes in, and they do have the 5th. What a strike! Brilliant! And it's that Manayari who started the scoring, and he will finish it, and this time he does celebrate his goal. The man who could have played for Tunisia plays for Sweden, and he has blasted them out in this first game with 2 goals, both from outside the box. It's a wonderful Ayari strike to add to his great first goal. It's Sweden 5, Tunisia 1.
Well, that is rubbing salt in the wounds. See the dejected look on the Tunisian players' faces. We said about the technique that Ayari has, he kisses the pitch, because that is an absolutely wonderful strike. So again, Tunisia give the ball away in the left back position. It comes to Ayari, right hand side of the penalty box. Just make sure he gets his first touch out of his feet, and with his right foot he just uses Talbi as a screen. Talbi turns his back, Ayari just bends it inside him, gives Chamakh absolutely no chance whatsoever. High to his right hand side into the side netting. Brilliant strike from Ayari. Sweden, probably the scoreline flatters them at 5-1. The referee blows the final whistle.
5-star from Sweden, 5 goals, 3 points. Sabri Lamucci walks off disappointed, but for Graham Potter and Sweden, the team that finished bottom of their qualification group, had to come through courtesy of Gyökeres' goals in the playoffs. Well, he was in and amongst it tonight as well. Ayari's strike gave Sweden the lead inside 7 minutes. Alexander Isak powered his shot through the keeper, who really should have done better, and at 2-0 Sweden were in full control. Tunisia got one back just before the break. Omar Rekik with a lovely glancing header for his first international goal, and at 2-1 start of the second half, Tunisia were getting on top, but Victor Gyökeres pounced after a scary error after the ball was won back by Isak. Gyökeres fired in first time to make it 3, and then the sub Matthias Svanberg scoring 18 seconds after coming on, initially flagged as offside, but Isak's touch meant he was onside. He volleyed home for 4-1, and then right at the end, Yasin Ayari with another strike from outside the box that means Sweden are off to a flyer. They sit top of Group F above Netherlands, Japan and Tunisia. The Africans well beaten tonight here. Didn't concede in qualifying. They're hit for 5 on match day 1. Disappointment for Tunisia, but joy for Sweden. They've won it by 5 goals to 1.